everybody, all 11 players on both teams got to take a penalty kick. Every single one of them made them, except for David De Gea.
Yeah. I think he's the joint record of amount of penalties scored in a European game. The other one is in like a third round playoff game or qualifier game.
21 out of 22.
It's incredible. And you have to feel for De Gea, although I don't know why he tries some fancy penalty instead of just smashing it like Rulli did.
Rulli, by the way, said he'd never taken a penalty before.
Yeah,
he just said like, oh, look, I'm a big, strong guy. Let me just hit it as hard as I can.
But surely
What's
that's the
worst
way.
that can happen?
That's the way. Why is De Gea trying to do something fancy? Like, let's wait and see maybe where the keeper is going. No, you're not Neymar. You're not Neymar. Just smash it.
You're not even Edinson. You're not known for your feet, by the way.
And
You're the least
clearly,
Spanish goalkeeper in the world in that sense.
Yeah, and De Gea is not a good goalkeeper for penalties. This is 40 in a row now he hasn't saved. 4-0 Gab, 36 for United and 4 for Spain. How can you not save a single penalty in 40 attempts?
If we have to talk about who outcoached who in this one, you got to give it to Emery, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Emery won the manager's battle. But then, I'm sorry, this is a Villarreal team who should play better than this, who can't just defend for the whole game like they did pretty much. I mean, they had one shot on target, it's the goal. They had a couple of other decent opportunities, but De Gea didn't have a save to make either. Not that really had much more to do, and I think United were disappointed.
United tried.
Solskjaer drove me mad in that game for not making any subs. It's not just the sub. Okay, keep the same 11 if you want, but change something. Put Rashford up front with Cavani. Put Bruno in a 10. Or do something different, but just don't stay the same way when, even in the second half after they scored, there was a bit more energy, a bit more urgency in their passing because the first half was so slow and so sideways. But come on.
Well, when I saw that lineup, right, and then later we found out, well, no, it's because Fred wasn't fully fit. Otherwise, Fred. And I saw Pogba on the pitch alongside McTominay. I thought, like, oh, great. It's going to be an open attacking game. United are going to go for it. United tried to go for it. And then I was reminded myself of what we've been saying all year. Yep. That when United play a team that are well organized and sit back, they can't create chances because they don't create chances through patterns of play. They have two creative players in the whole team, one being Bruno, who I did not think had a great game.
No,
the other one being Pogba, who got substituted, which I think says it all. And it's like a man trying to hit his head against a brick wall. It's not through lack of trying. Solskjaer tried to be positive. But this team...
How did he try to be positive?
Well, at least we had the lineup. He had the attacking players out there, but they don't have the patterns of play. They don't have... I looked at some point, I'm like, okay, so Greenwood and Rashford create some mismatches, create some one-on-ones. Nothing was working because a well-organized defense that sits deep will shut you down.
And they were 2v1 often, and Rashford, I thought, had a really poor game. I still think that in a game like this, Mason Greenwood is your perfect impact sub. It's just perfect to bring on after an hour when everybody's tired. I don't care who you start. Play Fred for an hour if you want with McTominay, Pogba on the left, Rashford on the right, Bruno and Cavani, and then bring on Greenwood. I just thought Solskjaer got a lot of things wrong.
For the life of me, I could not understand. And I'm not one of those people who says like, oh, look, he's not making substitutions. He's an idiot. But you're not getting things done.
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing over and over and over again for 90 minutes. The other guy keeps making substitutions to keep you on edge, to change things.
Completely.
You've got players on the bench. Were you surprised by that?
Completely.
First substitution, 10th minute of injury time. Not injury time, of extra time.
Surprise is the wrong word because then we go back to the limit of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager and the fact that he's still learning. But it's a lot of games now that
he can still be learning. He's been doing this for 10 years now.
Exactly, but still. So surprise is the wrong word. I was disappointed more than surprised because I knew that he could do something like this in a final of such a big game where either he gets cold feet and think, oh, I can't change because imagine I change and then they score because that sort of messes up the team. But there's no explanation on why he was watching the game, the same game as us, and thought, yeah, we're doing so well. I don't need to change anything here. And again, I'm not saying keep the same players if you want to because you don't trust Daniel James or you don't trust Fred or whatever. But even if you keep the same 11, change something. Right. For the life of me, please do. Because that will mess up Raul Albiol and Pau. Suddenly they see Rashford and Cavani,
the setup.
Or Greenwood and Cavani. They go, oh, okay, now we'll have to defend differently. Or they see Wan-Bissaka far higher up the pitch. Or they go to a back three. I don't know, anything. Please do something.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I think it's not just about the substitutions. It's about kind of changing and adjusting in general. 'Cause
Completely.
everybody made the joke, if Solskjaer could bring Solskjaer on, super sub, ha, ha. Okay, and there's nobody like that on the bench, fine. There's no Martial. Fred's not really going to move the needle for you, although obviously he did come on later, and, with all due respect to James and Mata, whatever. I get that, but you're right. Give them a different look. Give them something different to think about
Exactly.
at this stage of the game, because you do have players who are versatile.
Totally.
I look to me like Rashford. Sorry, before I get to that though, the one thing which struck me too is, and I hope this is not the case, is when I looked at the players who could be substituted, and then you think, well, Cavani, Rashford, Bruno, Pogba, they're all status players. In the end, I think the first guy to come off was Greenwood, who happens to be the youngest guy that you can.
Yeah.
I would have left Greenwood on because I also thought Greenwood wasn't having a bad game, unlike Rashford. But is there a bit of that too? A bit of this idea that these are my better players, I need to leave them out there?
I don't know, maybe. I would think that at that kind of level, you can't just base your decisions on, okay, who's the leaders. Regardless of who he is, if he's having a bad game or not influencing the game the way you want, then you sub him. You shouldn't stay on the pitch because of your status or because you're Paul Pogba or Bruno Fernandes or Edinson Cavani. Even if they can change the game like this on a moment of magic, but if they've got no influence on the game, in a way, why keeping them? I don't know what kind of relationship he has with those kind of players, and if he was, I don't know, scared to take them off or feared that by taking them off, you take away this possibility that they will make something happen out of nothing, which they can do. So I understand that as well, why you leave them on, because you think, but it's Pogba, it's Bruno, it's Cavani, they can do something very special, which is true. Except that on Wednesday night, it just didn't happen. Yeah. They didn't do anything special or magic.
Was it weird? I mean, I was watching on television. And by the way, it was an absolute dog's breakfast in terms of trying to understand who was coming on, who was coming off. I don't know whose fault it was. In the extra time, it was actually difficult. I mean, I think you were in a pub watching the United fans.
In Manchester, yeah.
But, you see the guy saying, oh, look, Mata's coming on. And then, 10 minutes later, he's still sitting there. And, it looks like Pogba goes to the side of the pitch during a substitute. I think because McTominay was down.
Yeah.
And he has a drink. And then you find out, no, Pogba's actually taken off. So Production
wasn't great, yeah.
Yeah, that was a shambles. But was it weird that Pogba came off? You've got the penalties coming on, right? So you figure I'm going to send on the specialists for the penalties. Although bring on Dan James.
Pogba's taken a lot of them before as well.
Was he injured?
I didn't think so. Maybe he felt he gave a lot of energy, that he was maybe low on energy, and you don't take any risk for that. I understand the sort of Mata and Alex Telles substitution, and they were the first one to take the pens.
But Dan James, not so much.
Not so much. They did well. But then penalties, I know penalties is the lottery. Everybody says, okay, maybe it is. I still think De Gea should have done much better. I don't think either Rulli or De Gea are very good penalty goalkeepers anyway.
No.
But it's a shame to still lose, and that's what Solskjaer put forward. He said, well, we lost on one kick, which is true in the end, but it should have been so much better for United.
But the other point is that if you'd won, you would have won on one kick. And the reality is, your wage bill is 5 times that of Villarreal. You've had time to prepare for this game. Both these teams, this is the other thing I thought was disappointing, both these teams, especially United, fielding shadow sides in their last
but not Villarreal against Real Madrid in that game.
Less so.
A lot of that team still played last night.
Arguably, I think Villarreal had heavier absences. Well, it's probably about the same. Chukwueze versus Maguire. Yeah. I know Martial's up, but Martial's been out forever. Yeah, Martial wouldn't have started probably in this game.
No, I don't think so.
Come off the bench.
But for me, it's still more United who lost that final than Villarreal who won it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.